had a GCF we could take out first. So the next couple ones we're going to do, they all will have a GCF first. The biggest thing you have to remember is you have to write the GCF followed by the factors as your final answer. So if you took a GCF out right away in the beginning, it still needs to be there in the end. It's kind of like if you bring your sister to the mall, you gotta bring her home again when you're done. Whether you work with her or not in the middle or when you're at the mall, you gotta make sure that she's still in the car when you drive home. So let's look at this example here. 10y squared minus 35y plus 30. I want to see, do these things have a number or a variable in common that I can take out right away to make my life easier before moving forward? In this situation, they all can be divided by 5. I can take a 5 out right away. So we're going to divide everything by 5. That's going to be my GCF. So if I do that, I'd be left with a 2y squared minus 7y plus 6. From here, I can now set up my x, and I can go through and do the same process we've been doing. So I multiply the a times the c to get to the top, so I'm looking at 12, adding to the bottom. So two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to a negative 7, I'm going to get a negative 4 and a negative 3. So I can rewrite. When you're rewriting now, you're rewriting from this point, from after we took the GCF out. So my ax squared is the 2y squared minus the 4y minus the 3y and then plus 6. From there I can factor by grouping. So 2y squared and 4y, they both have a 2y in common. And then a 3y and a 6. Since that's a negative 3, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take out a negative 3 from both of them. So I'm going to have a 2y. What would be left would be a y minus 2. A minus 3 times y minus 2. My first parenthesis is my parenthesis that I have in common, and then my second parenthesis is my GCFs I took out. And then my little sister that I brought to the mall was this 5 up here. So I need to make sure that she comes back home with me at the end. So we're going to bring her all the way down to the bottom, put her in front of our factors, and then that's my final answer. So number 8, let's go ahead and do the same process. We're going to say, do they all have a number or a variable in common that I can take out right away? And they do. They all have a 3 in common. So I'm going to divide this thing by 3. And I would be left with an x squared plus an 8x plus 15. From here now I can set up my x. So I'm multiplying a times c, and you're looking at this inside piece, remember. So I'm multiplying to 15, adding to the b value, which is the 8. So numbers that multiply to 15 and add to 8, I get 5 and 3. So now I can rewrite. I have x squared plus 5x plus 3x plus 15, and I can factor by grouping. These both only have an x in common, so I'm just going to take that out. And these both have a 3 in common, so I'm going to take that out. So I have the x times x plus 5. The GCF I took out was a 3, so 3x divided by 3 gives me x. 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. So my first parenthesis is x plus 5. Second parenthesis, the GCFs, so x plus 3. And then I can't forget the little sister that I brought to the mall with me is at 3. So she goes out in front, and then there's my answer. All right, the last two examples here, again, I want you to try them on your own. They are both going to have a GCF that you're going to take out right away in the beginning. For number 9, it's actually going to be a variable that you're going to take out. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a number. Remember, GCFs can be a number or a variable. So you're going to take a variable out of number 9. And then number 10, you're going to go ahead and you're going to take out just a number. So try 9 and 10 on your own, and then come back and check your work with what's in the video. So for the first example here, I got x times 2x plus 3 times 3x minus 2. Don't forget that you have to make sure that your little sister comes home with you. Same thing for number 10.